Greetings, everyone. What's good? Welcome to the CANDU Sports Show. Got Scott Blair and your host and Donray Bennett. How you feeling, Donray? What's good?
Feeling good, feeling great. March Madness is taking over, and so no complaints here. Baseball's starting, basketball, hockey's winding down.
Mm,
There's a lot to be happy for.
good time of year. Good time of year.
Absolutely.
Man, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. This is episode 11, isn't it?
11 or 12?
Yeah,
11.
this
11.
is a good place, right? We're starting to tab get that number going up, and now we're losing track of how many we've done. So that's a
There
good
we
thing.
go.
So let's get to it, everyone. We've got a busy agenda today, and let's start off with let's talk about the NCAA women's basketball tournament. 12.3 million viewers for just the Iowa versus LSU game alone. So much to talk about. We have the wins, we have the Angel Reese, LSU, all the noise there, if you will. We've got the recent news that just broke this afternoon of Haley Van Lith going into the transfer portal a second time. So
Mhm.
much. So, Donry, what's on your mind as we go through
Oof.
this?
Well, first, I want to give credit where credit's due, and that's to Caitlin Clark for just being an absolute monster on the court.
Truth,
She
truth.
living up to it. And she's not just filling up the bucket. I mean, her teammates are significantly better with
Yeah,
she's putting up double digit assists. She's not just dropping in 42, she's throwing in 12 in there, 41.
yeah,
It is an absolute beauty of a game
absolutely.
to watch. And the only I hear some critics talking about, well, she doesn't have a mid-range game or she's not. I don't I don't know that that's the case. She
What?
just happens to find the right pass when she's in the mid range. So, what I don't think she's afraid of it. I don't think she can't hit it. She's just she's great, man. She's great. She is everything that the hype is has put her to be. She's lived up to it. She surpassed it, and I'm just glad that I'm here to watch and appreciate. Because when I
No
was
doubt.
younger and I watched sports, I was a hater, right? If everyone loved someone, if everyone hyped it up, I was always going for the underdog. I didn't want them to succeed. That's why I couldn't appreciate the Jordans of the
Yeah,
world
yeah.
or Gretzky or Joe Montana. I was rooting against them. And I'm older now, I'm mature, and I appreciate um, one generational talents. And so, man, and the crazy part is all around game, if I'm being honest, all around game on both sides of the court.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she's the best player in college basketball. If
Okay.
I'm keeping it a beam, if I'm keeping it a
Let's
beam.
you open the
Having
door.
s-
Let's walk through it.
having said that, if you have the first pick overall, I'm taking her. Okay. But Paige might have her inched. If we're going full range, yeah, I mean, but I'm still taking her
I'm
simply
with
be
you.
I'm still
I'm with
taking
you.
her first overall. And part of it might be, the publicity and the attraction, but also I know she can take over a game any given day, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It is, and let's maybe we put a period, right? And just that piece of Caitlin Clark, amazing, right? Amazing, amazing, amazing. And I was just talking with Sydney, right, with my daughter. Shout out to our guest from our one of our previous shows about all this noise and some of the commentary of Caitlin Clark. She's like Steph Curry. Well, how about Steph Curry's like Caitlin Clark, right? We could even do that kind of flip. But just the confidence to and that comes from practice, right? The way in which she's able to go out there, and it doesn't matter where she's on the court, the confidence of this shot's going in. And like you said, part of the reason I don't think she really needs a mid-range game is that when she's not pulling the three, pulling a shot from behind the arc from three, she's driving, and
To the hole.
everyone, yeah, and the lane is wide open, right? She's going right in for layups, or it's a nice kick in to the big, or if she's doing a kick out to one of her teammates out on the perimeter. But she doesn't need to take a mid-range game because the lane is pretty much open for her to attack. I hear you with Paige, and and I think that's where you're going, of let's honor what they both can do, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Paige, I love how Paige is a tenacious defender. She is a tenacious defender. And she's got I love her mid range when she gets that high ball screen from from Aaliyah Edwards, right? And gets downhill. That pull up from the elbow, she's nasty from there. Just nothing but net, 9.9 times out of 10. But then we've got Caitlin, who, yeah, you can put her 35 feet from outside the arc, and she's got no problem, right? It's going in. And shout out to her coach for allowing her to do that.
Mm.
I'm going to give a shout out to one of my former players, Kyle Peck. He had a very similar of coach. I hear you, and I know I'm 10 feet behind the 3-point line, but I'm going to let this fly. And I know my former players can remember this game against Casanova, where it's like, really? And he made one from the arc. I'm like, come on, man. But that confidence of, no, I'm going to let you do your thing. Just, it's
Sure.
a great thing to watch.
Yeah,
Great thing.
absolutely. I am looking forward to the showdown tomorrow.
Mm,
Um,
it's UConn. Love it.
it's oh man, what a Final Four. What a Final Four.
Donray to go from LSU, Iowa to now we get Caitlin against Paige.
Yep.
We don't deserve this. This is a beautiful thing.
I tell you what. And then I mean, think about the state of women's college basketball right now because
Yeah.
I mean, Juju's over there sitting. She got a nice run at things, and now she's got a chance to sit back and stew and come back even more. I mean, they are really. Be honest. Okay, okay, I'll be honest about myself. I don't know about you, and I can't speak for everyone, but I am significantly more tuned into the women's
Yeah.
college tournament than I am to the men's, and I have been since day one.
Listen.
Never in
Yeah.
my life can I say that's been the case, even when I had a rooting interest. Um, I genuinely am looking forward to the games tomorrow, and the
Yeah.
men's are going to be great. Don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
the attention, my interest is just on 10 with the women's. I want to see both. Dawn is Philly's own, so go ahead, Coach Staley, do your thing.
Well,
Um,
that's just it, right? We're talking we're all this conversation. Meanwhile, South Carolina has lost one game in 2 seasons
mhm.
and are currently undefeated, and they're the third team we're talking about right now. So,
Crazy,
yeah,
absolutely crazy.
yeah,
But kudos to them; they deserve it. Uh, and I hope I'm confident it's going to live up to it. I just believe it'll live up to they haven't let us down yet, and I don't expect them to. And shout out to all those women working hard on the coaching staff and players. I think it's gonna. I can't wait. Get your popcorn ready.
let's
To
go.
to reference.
Let's go. NC State against South Carolina, Iowa against UConn. Amazing. And let's just for a second with UConn, I think Iowa has been well documented. I think we've spoken about them on a
Hmm.
couple of shows. UConn pretty much plays 6 players, right? They have 8 girls who are playing and on the
Injury,
bench because
yes.
of injury, right? They're playing
Injury,
6. Maybe they'll play 7, but for the most part, they're rolling 6 players out there. Amazing. You mentioned Juju, right? USC's at home. Amazing talent, like just all the depth and breadth of
of it.
talent.
And I want to give you your kudos. You said it midway through the season, maybe. Um, this is definitively, in my opinion, um, Gino's best
Mm,
coaching job he's ever done. Whether they finish with a chip or not, this was just
amazing,
phenomenal. Hmm.
amazing. And Paige is coming back next year, so
Mm,
amazing.
mm,
Maybe just for a hot second, let's give a shout out to the defending champs who did lose to Iowa to
sure.
LSU. Well documented. My feelings about Coach Mulkey. The Washington Post article was interesting, although there wasn't a whole lot in there. I think that was too new. Some of the family dynamics, I think, was in Coach Mulkey's autobiography that came out 10, 15 years ago, something like
Mhm.
maybe 2007. But all that noise aside, they play aggressive, they play tenacious. I think the sport sometimes needs to have, from our era would probably be the Detroit Pistons. Maybe it's the New York Knicks.
Sure.
You need that, right? You need that foil or whatever sort of descriptor from that we want to add in there. You need that sometimes, and they play hard, they play aggressive, they have that confidence, and sometimes that can be read as arrogance, right?
Hmm.
And I think some of the descriptions of Angel Reese, and maybe we want to compare it to a Draymond or something like that, but they're professional players. She's still a college athlete. There's a difference, and being able to think about the human element is important for a college athlete. So kudos to that kind of emerging over the last couple of days, and just kind of understanding the impact that this all has on a college student, not a professional athlete. I think that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is, this NIL and social media, those two things combined is really
Yeah,
blurring the lines for
truth.
the general population, because the reality is accessibility is there because they're putting themselves online. It's not like their comments are turned off. It's not like every post is them working out or whatnot. There's a personal life to them that they're putting on display as
Yeah.
well. And I'm not blaming the victims or anything like that here, but
Yep. Yep.
this is where you didn't have that access unless you had that access to professional players because there's paparazzi and whatnot following them in years past, but never to the college student. And now you have them 24/7 being accessible as a person in addition to an athlete. Then on top of that, now you're getting when that they're getting paid and they're getting a couple million. They're getting paid more than professional WNBA players. And you're,
Yeah. And
so
they are.
the less those who haven't worked higher ed and haven't been or haven't had friends or family in at a college athletics, it's probably a little more difficult for that fan to see them as the students, as the youth that they are, as a non-professional that
Yep.
they are. And I think that has probably lent itself to a portion of the fan base treating them as if they were professional, even though they're not. So
Yep.
um,
Agreed.
I think it's just a different time. It's just a different day and time. So I feel for these college athletes and things of that nature. I don't have a resolution with
Yeah.
social media being what it is, providing accessibility, and I'm not trying to say anyone tell them to not use it or whatnot. It's their right, but it's going to come along with various levels of ignorance um, or just different types of folks, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then add to it that you can't even say, well, they're not getting paid any. Well, yeah, they are getting paid,
They
and they're
are.
getting paid like professionals. So,
Yeah.
where do you draw the line? But
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. But
Truth.
it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. But
It
one thing we
is.
didn't touch on was the transfer today, entering the transfer portal with Van Lith. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, really quick. I we can all speculate. I'm just wondering, as kind of a coach and a fan, right, of the sport. I do think she kind of sacrificed a little bit to go to LSU. Maybe it was to pursue a championship, right? Her numbers at Louisville were pretty impressive. I think her last season there, she was averaging like 19 points a game and pretty good clip assists. I know the points per game were almost at 20. And this year, I think she averaged 11 points a game, so almost half slide, right? 50% slide there. So I could imagine she's got an extra year. You want to bump up those numbers maybe to be a really good prospect for the WNBA. So maybe you're going to look at another program in which you can get back to playing and getting those numbers back. I'm wondering that could be and maybe she's going back home because she's from Washington. So does she go to the Huskies? Does she go to Gonzaga? I don't know, but I'm intrigued. Or does she go to South Carolina? Does she go to UConn to play with
I,
Paige? I don't know.
I hope she doesn't. Well, she can do whatever she wants. This
Yeah,
isn't a
truth.
slight to her. Chasing going to another team that literally is in the hunt for the chip this year, after going, it's not she didn't leave a team that had no shot this year. I mean, she left a team that was a top
Yeah,
five, definitely top 10 team in the nation. And so the shot was there. If it's a professional decision or academic decision, I'm not sure where her academics are. It's her fifth year, so she's doing grad school or some.
grad school. Yeah, because she
Right.
finished her degree at Louisville. So yeah,
So, I mean, I don't, if that's what I mean. Is it related to that? If it's strictly just a playing time, points per game, statistical piece, um, well,
yeah. I don't know.
to
Yeah,
each
we
to
don't
each
know.
their own.
Each
It took
term
me by surprise that you would go to the defending champs and
and leave
um, and then leave.
after 1 year. Yeah,
Right.
and we'd be remiss to not mention that when she was being recruited out of high school, it was between Louisville and Baylor when Kim Mulkey was there.
Mulkey,
So,
sure.
right. So I'm sure that was part of the decision to go there last year after finishing at Louisville. So,
Yep.
yep. So lots to see. Do you want to do a quick who do you got tomorrow night, real quick? NC State, South Carolina.
I'm going well, NC. I'm going South Carolina. I
Yeah.
think they're just they're just well coached, tremendous size, tremendous athleticism. They've got it all. They've just got it all, including discipline, which at the end of the day, I think is going to be the differentiator,
Iowa,
among other
UConn.
things.
Iowa, UConn.
I'm going Iowa. I think they just have. I think that short bench is going to catch up. I don't know that they can run around and guard the Reggie Miller-esque,
Good
Caitlin
comparison.
Clark. They're going to be. They're going to be.
And
I think
Steph
it'll be a
too.
great first half. I wouldn't even be surprised if UConn was up in the first half, but I think the wear and tear is going to happen, and by the end, it'll be potentially a double digit, like a 10, 12 point victory for Iowa. How about you?
Okay. You and I are in agreement here. I'm thinking South Carolina. Um, I think it'll be close for a little bit, but I think they're going to pull away. And then if the officiating allows them to play free, I think UConn has a chance. But if there's foul trouble, yeah, they don't have enough depth. But between Aaliyah Edwards, between Paige Beckers, and Nika Mule, yeah, Nika Mule, I think they have the talent to hang in there, and it's going to be competitive. But I am going to put a little bit of a watchful eye on the officiating to
Interesting.
see how
I'm
that goes.
my biggest interest in those games are going to be Gino's approach. I think he's one of the best X's and O's of all time, defensively, and I can't wait to see what he draws up to stymie, because I mean I know the issues with her personally that you have with Coach Mulkey, but I
Hmm.
respect. I mean, I've never. I respect as a coach. I respect what
Yes,
she's been able to
yes,
do,
yes.
at multiple institutions,
Agreed.
and she's come under a lot of fire for her approach to guarding,
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
Clark,
Yeah.
which was questionable. I have no idea why she would do it, but also I'm not going to question a four-time champ who's done it over and over again. She knows something I don't. Um,
I'm going
but
to. I'm going
but
to. You don't stick 5'7" Haley
you
Van Lith on a
you
6
don't
foot,
you
6 foot
don't
one.
you
Yeah.
don't, and she's quoted in the past as saying, not one you put 4 on 1 if you need to. Not one person's going to beat us the way she did. But I think I can't rationalize it, to be honest. I don't know what she's doing putting lift on her 1 on 1, unless the plan was get up in her chest, make sure you use up
No
some
one.
clock, use her legs, because you're going to switch anyway. If you
Yeah.
pick her up at half court, there's going to be a screen, or there's going to be a screen. We're going to switch off anyway. So it's not really like you have her. You're just, you know, pushing, getting the rock out of her hands, or forcing the
Yeah.
first move. If that was the directive, but clearly that wasn't it because they weren't fully switching and getting back. The hedge was horrendous, and I
But
don't I don't know.
we should add this though. Haley Van Lith played her, and I thought defended her decent. There's just
Yes,
a 5, 6 inch
yes,
difference in height.
she did. She definitely did.
And so when you see her doing this, kind of a Cliff Robinson style after MJ's 6 3 pointers, right? It's like, yeah, because there is a difference there. So that's where it's like switch the personnel because I thought everything else was okay. So we'll
Yeah,
see. If it were me, throw some tandem zone against them where you've got one person guarding her as she crosses half court. First pass, then you adjust and you modify. You can't give her space. I wouldn't do a whole lot of zone, but maybe you start with some tandem zone, give them some different looks. But
has anyone thrown a box and one at them this year? I haven't seen it.
I've watched a lot of their games. I do know, I think some of the Big Ten teams did do that. I don't want to throw out a team that maybe, I want to say
I was trying.
Nebraska, but don't
That's
quote
what I was going
me.
to say. The
Yeah.
Nebraska game, which they
Think,
ended up having a tough time with. So I thought that's what I saw there.
but it was a lot of physicality. Really, a lot of the teams, West Virginia, even in the tournament, it was just the officiating allowed them to be physical, put hands on, and that made a difference because now
Mhm.
you can push folks around, you can bumper off the screen, and that allowed it to be played differently.
I would just
When
like to see what it would be with a face guard, a full 90-foot face guard. Just get that Rudy,
that won't
or
work
you know what I mean, get
because
that
they're gonna go up court and they're gonna fly.
Raja.
Yeah,
I
and
know,
then
but there's you've got to have that tough, that oh my, I can't believe I'm saying this, but that that Bobby Hurley, that Raja Bell, that person that's not
Wojciechowski
care,
slap the floor. Let's go. Yeah,
Wojciechowski. I mean, that guard that is well conditioned and has fouls to give, and it's okay if they only play
and UConn doesn't
17,
have that,
20
and
minutes.
UConn
I
doesn't have
know,
people.
but
Yeah,
if well, that's what I'm saying. If anyone might have it, this is what I'm trying to get into Gino Auriemma bag. He might have a ninth or tenth player that offensively has nothing to contribute,
they
but
literally have eight. But yeah, yeah,
defensively is conditioned.
yeah.
Defensively was a three sport athlete, can do it all, and will get in a chest just for all I need is 9 minutes of reckless abandonment from you. Make her hate you for 9 minutes in the first half.
2-2-1 press. You're going to run a 2-2-1 soft press. When they cross half court, you coach your players to be disciplined. You get into some aggressive one-on-one defense, man-to-man defense. We need to have a different term of man-to-man when we're talking about women's basketball, but nobody's come up with that yet. And that's where I think you throw out some different looks. Maybe you do some tandem zone with a, it's a 2-3, but with a tandem front to kind of start. Maybe you got to throw some junk defenses in there. You got to run some trap action
But see, this is why you
out
got
of
to
the
go deep.
screen.
Then you got to go deep. You can't run trap, full court or trap or any of this stuff
No, and that's why two two
with
one to
six
slow the
people.
pace. 2-2-1 slows the pace,
Okay.
right? It's a 2-2-1 soft press. It's more of slowing the
Okay.
pace
So
to
you're
keep them in
sagging. You're
front.
just making sure
Yeah.
that they use up some clock. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
you're not going out there Nolan Richardson style 40.
All
Yeah. So, oh, this
right.
was
Well,
good. We
we'll
pretty
see.
much did the whole show. This was good. So, as we should pay attention to the
Absolutely.
women's game like this. So, maybe in the interest of time, Donray, let's wrap up real quick with
Okay.
maybe the men's game, and then we can do kind of some closing thoughts. So, what are you thinking? And first, we should do a shout out. You got UConn, NC State in both tourneys, which has
Crazy.
never happened before.
Unreal. Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to them, to both programs. UConn obviously has had this before, considering they've won chips in the same year. But NC State coming in out of nowhere, a team that by a miracle last second shot in the ACC tourney wouldn't even be
Yeah.
where we're at today.
Wouldn't even
So
be here.
they wouldn't even in the tournament. So good for them. Um,
NC
you
State,
know,
Purdue, Alabama, UConn. Yeah.
yep, I'm glad to see Purdue finally making some headway. I didn't realize that they hadn't gone this far back in the
Ever.
Cliff in the big dog days. I could have
Gene
sworn,
Katie. Yeah.
yeah, I could have swore they got in there. But
1980. Was that the last time? Something like
yeah,
that.
I like their style of basketball. I really do. It's a little more old school, more traditional because they got the big guy, so they're going to
Yeah.
feed it, make sure it goes through him. But they really go inside out really well. So I'm going to ride that wave. I think Purdue's going to sneak by, and then and that Cinderella dance will end on the other side. But by the way, that is a bracket killer. Not so much that they went that far, but if you're choosing your bracket on a team that played on Tuesday, you don't even know who wins. So to
Hmm.
actually have them is pretty crazy. So I wonder what they're going to do for the future. If people might start earlier if NC State continues this run. Then on the other side,
Wait,
you've
NC
got.
State wasn't a Tuesday team because they got an automatic bid because they won the
Oh,
ACC.
you're no. I
Yeah.
thought they didn't they play
Yeah.
Colorado.
No, I don't think so because they were an automatic bid. I don't think they were a playing game.
Where is my world going
Yeah.
to?
No, it's okay though. They were still an 11 seed.
They
So
were they were 11. I could have swore they played early.
yeah.
Okay. Um, you're right. They did. Obviously, they won a tournament, so they must have gotten in. And then on the other side, I mean,
Alabama, UConn. UConn went on a 30-0 run against Illinois.
I don't even know what to say about that. Big
Man,
Ten. It would have been nice to have Illinois upset them, but I mean, who can stop them at this point? I don't know. I haven't watched enough SEC ball to know about Alabama. I've watched them this tourney. Um, but I've watched UConn to see that they are just loaded.
yeah.
They're loaded. I would love to see a UConn Purdue final just to see how that matchup. I mean, there's some NBA players in there that would
Truth.
could be seeing each other for the next decade and a half. So
Truth.
it would be real cool to see them at this age and watch them grow together.
Truth. I'm with you on all that. Purdue UConn is what I think is being eyed up there. And we're going to have two, if that happens, we're going to have two fantastic teams and two fantastic teams who their strength is at the center position and not center position like Victor Wembayama on the perimeter. They're on the block, right? They're in the post. Is it Klingon, I think, with UConn, and then of course Zach Edey with
Edie.
Purdue. So yeah, just amazing. Just and we were watching. We were away for the holiday, and we were watching the Illinois UConn game at a restaurant, and just it was 23-23. And the next thing you know, it's 53-23. Just unbelievable.
How does that happen?
Yeah,
How does that
unbelievable.
happen?
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
Unbelievable. So let's do our closing thoughts. Before we do that, we want to give a special shout out to Spindrift, favorite of ours here in the Blair household. I'm
yes,
rocking the blood orange since I'm rocking my Syracuse gear tonight. They're not paid spokespersons of the show or anything like that, or sponsors, but we just want to give them a shout out. Awesome product. Give them a look. Sparkling water, good stuff.
yes, and for my family, we don't do soda or pop
Yep,
as some of this parts of America call it. My kids love sparkling water, and then the flavored ones, especially if you got infused real juice and whatnot.
good stuff.
Um, we're gonna have to try it out. We haven't tried it yet. We'll try it out and then we'll let you know how it goes. Um, but
Love it.
looking
Love it.
forward to it. All right, brother. So we're gonna do any
Mine's going to be quick. Mine's going to be
okay.
Tiger Woods. Mine's going to be Tiger Woods. I'm excited to hear that he's on the prowl in Augusta. I think he did a couple of practice rounds the last couple of days in preparation for the Masters in a little bit. So he had to withdraw from Riviera, not because of his injuries, but because he had the flu. So I'm hopeful. He looked good. I thought he looked pretty good from his surgeries from a few months ago to fix to help him out with his leg. His limp was noticeably reduced.
Mm,
So let's see. Just amazing if he is even in contention. If he's able to go the full 4 rounds, amazing. But that's cool. And I know you teased something during one of our last episodes. Something about your Chip. I don't know if you ever really got into it. Your
look,
whole Chip Kelly, Ohio State.
yes, this thing has flown under the radar, and I've been we've spoken off air about it several times, so that's probably why I'm not sure if we how far we delved into it. But the message is written clear to me, and I don't know why anyone hasn't said it. At least I haven't heard anyone say it. This man is the next head coach of Ohio State. He's a snake in the grass. He is the Doc Rivers, if you will, of Ohio State football. No one leaves a top tier
Mm,
program head coach because they've had
UCLA.
too much of it or whatnot, goes across country to a top program and then takes the back seat to someone that's been on the hot seat for a couple of years because they can't beat their number one rival and they've just watched their number one rival win a chip. Stop it. They've got their next up, and it's just a matter of time. This guy
Mm,
slips at all. Ryan Day doesn't win, not only beat Michigan, but then also win a chip. He's out, and they've got the there's a handshake deal. I'm sure of it. And Chip
I
Kelly
love
will
it.
be the next head coach of Ohio State by the end, by come bowl season of next year. I don't think they'll let Ryan Day coach the bowl game. I think he'll be done by after the
Ooh,
regular season if they don't make the playoffs.
I'm here
If
for
they
it.
do make the playoffs, then he'll coach through that. But I'm telling you, it is so clear, and I can't believe more ruckus wasn't made about someone of that stature leaving the head coach position at a top tier
Yeah,
program
to go be the offensive coordinator. Yep.
to go take a back seat to some guy that. And I know there's a previous relationship there, but he is the Doc Rivers. He is going to do what the Bucks and
Love
Rivers
it. I'm
pulled
here
this year.
for it.
I can
I'm here
assure
for
you.
it. Get your popcorn
So
ready. Love
that's
it.
right. So that's all I
Love
got to
it.
say about that.
Love it. Caleb Williams, I hope you had a good visit to Chicago this week with the Bears folks. Let's see what happens in the draft in 3 weeks, I think. So good
Yeah,
stuff.
24th, 25th. Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Well, everyone, stay tuned. We might have something special after this episode, by the way, too. And we're cooking up a guest for our next episode as well. So good stuff. Donray, good to chop it up with you.
Yes, sir.
Good night,
Always
Venezuela.
good.
We'll see
All
y'all
right.
later.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, welcome back for a little extra session. This week, we are treated with a special guest known to many folks as DJ Wizerd, aka Philly's finest, aka my big bro, my cousin,
Bruce.
Big Bruce Rivera, the Moose, North Philly's finest. How you doing today, Bruce?
I'm doing very well. How's everyone doing out there in La La Land? All right, we're
Love it.
here to talk about some great news. That's great action.
This is
Matter of
great.
fact, today's Thursday. It started today. Rain or shine. We
Let's
got
get to it.
WWE WrestleMania. We got the big match, the Roman Reigns, the Rocky Johnson. We got everybody out
Bethlehem's
here.
finest.
The finest.
Yeah, see, I know I don't know anything. I stopped following back when it was WWF. I don't know about you, Scott. I don't know much
Same.
about that area. So we had to
Same.
bring in someone who's still following the sport. What do we got to look forward to?
Well, first of all, it's a lot of entertainment. I know we got a lot of good things coming up. Bunch of matches. We got Becky Lynch and all these other ladies that's wrestling. We got a bunch of wrestlers, man. Like, it's awesome. It's
Are you telling me
amazing
there's going to
things,
be
amazing
wrestlers
things
at
happening.
WrestleMania?
Okay,
WrestleMania.
so it's going to be wrestlers at WrestleMania.
Okay.
And looking forward to hearing The Weeknd and Meek Mills being at WrestleMania.
I heard is The Weeknd, is he releasing a
Meek
new
Mills.
album or a new song, I think, at WrestleMania?
And first of all,
So I know a
The
little something.
Weeknd's new song is going to be the main event song.
All right, nice.
Okay.
All right. I'm looking forward to seeing some action in Philadelphia, some positive action.
Okay.
Bruce, Bruce, can you chop it up with us? It's going to be at Lincoln Financial, right?
At the Eagle Stadium.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
A lot of
And-
superstars, a lot of
Wait,
celebrities.
did you say The Rock is coming back?
The Rock is going to be in the main event.
Against who?
He's teaming up with Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, okay. I heard it. I did a really quick look. Did I hear something about a Stone Cold Steve Austin appearance too? I know Hulk Hogan's going to
Supposedly-
be in town too, so they're bringing out
supposedly,
some of the legends for this.
A lot of the legends are coming out to do, appearances like the Ric Flair, the Undertaker.
Bushwhackers, they're bringing out the Bushwhackers.
I don't know. I was hoping Doink the
Legion
Clown.
of Doom,
Wow. See, that's
Twin
that's
Towers, right?
Twin
Didn't they have
Towers.
Sergeant Slaughter? They're going to bring out
Yeah,
Sergeant
I was
Slaughter.
hoping like, Radish and Rick Rude, but
I'll take a Coco Beware any day.
Let's go. Let's go.
But at the end of the day, it's a big thing for Philadelphia and wrestling
Yeah.
fans. Has been supporting it since way back.
Yeah.
Vince
It's
McMahon
good.
bringing money into Philly.
It's good. Vince McMahon is a complicated individual, but
Triple
WWE
H.
coming through Philly, that's awesome news. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Bruce, you're gonna have to be our WWE expert or the person we bring in whenever there's a big WWE
No doubt, no doubt.
event
There we
of
go.
sorts.
There we go. We have our
All right.
WWE commentator. This
Yeah.
is perfect. This is perfect. Bruce,
Appreciate it.
it's good to have you on the show today.
I appreciate it, fellas, and everyone in the La La Land.
All right.
Looking forward for Saturday and Sunday.
Love it. And repping the Phillies, good. Shout out to
Bryce Harper
Bryce
with the
Harper. Yep.
3 home run, one was a grand slam.
Love it. Love having you on for the special segment. This is fantastic.
Appreciate it, sir.
Bruce.
Bruce, well, appreciate your time. This is just a little bonus cut, little bonus section. We definitely gonna have to have DJ Wizerd on.
Oh,
a
we'll
little
bring
more-
him back.
Yeah, it's he's gonna be a crowd
Appreciate the
favorite,
love.
no doubt.
You
No
know,
doubt.
big ups to North Philly.
Love it. Love the Philly love. This is great. This is great.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So until next time, we will catch you on the other side.
Appreciate y'all.
Please support the podcast.